So me and Keith were back at the NEC for MCL 2025. Another year, another sea of bikes, crowds and extortionate car park prices. We've been coming here for a while now and it is starting to feel very samey. You know, packed halls, not a lot of space to film, but even amongst the madness, there was a few themes that really stood out. So instead of doing a full walk around that's already been nicely covered by proper YouTubers, here are 3 trends that we noticed at this year's show. Trend number 1, retro road race style is everywhere, which actually suits us. Every stand had something that nodded back to the 80s, 90s, or even early 2000s. Suzuki went all in as it was the 40th anniversary of the GSX-R with a full spread of classics from the early model right up to the new one, which I actually quite like although there's only subtle changes, but finally they've got away with that massive end can that they used to have on it, which looked ridiculous. Yamaha have gone all out with their anniversary colours and they look brilliant. So it's basically the OW02 R7 scheme on a modern package. I'm all for that. And even the custom world's leaning into it. Marc from Hatchmoto had his XSR 900 build on the Yamaha stand and it looks incredible. We're actually hoping to visit him at his workshop early next year to get a proper detailed look into his world. But if you can't wait till then, check out our video that we did at the Bike Shed show where we had a quick chat with him. Even Bimota are getting in on the trend, so with the KB4, it's a modern retro with proper like early sports bikes energy. So it's evident that manufacturers clearly know that racing heritage still hits people right in the nostalgia. And even the modern racers as well, like they had Alex Lowe's World Superbike, Bimota, and Dean Harrison's Superstock winning bike, along with the replica that they brought out, which looks nice, special edition, very nice. So trend number 2 was how competitive the adventure market is. KOVE showed up in force, showing that Chinese manufacturers now are starting to be taken seriously. The 510 comes in at around $5,999 in the UK, the bigger 800X Pro at $8,499, which is mad value really for the spec that they offer. But here's the interesting thing, is that Kawasaki has got in on it, and they've launched the all-new KLE 500 that also lands in at around $5,999. So Kawasaki are now competing directly with the emerging budget to mid-adventure bikes. It feels like the adventure category has gone full gas. I mean, I remember coming as a kid and it was just all sports bikes, but it's like completely flipped on its head now. Okay, so trend number 3, British heritage brands still going strong. So trend number 3 was something a little bit more subtle, was that British heritage brands are still plodding on. With the exception of CCM, which sadly went into administration over the summer, pretty much after we just filmed there, you've still got the likes of BSA, AGS and Royal Enfield still pulling in a crowd, even if they're not British owned anymore. BSA have even jumped onto the adventure bike bandwagon with the all-new Thunderbolt. But what everyone was really anticipating this year was the return of Norton. So after everything that happened with the Stuart Garner mess, they're now under TVS ownership, and it genuinely feels like they're rebuilding properly. The bikes look better in person than they did in the early press photos. I must admit, I did think they looked a bit kitchen appliancey before. And they've clearly invested a lot in marketing, what with all the promo videos and just the size of the stand that they had, because it was seriously impressive. And it seemed it paid off because it was absolutely rammed every time we walked past. Yeah, so there's definitely more confidence around the brand compared to the other years. There's still no prices and they're keeping things fairly quiet, so I'm not exactly sure who they are pitching it at, but it does seem like Norton are back again. So those were the 3 biggest trends we noticed from MCL 2025. Retro road race stylings everywhere, adventure bikes are getting even more competitive price wise, and British heritage brands are still holding their own. Let us know what you think of the show and what stood out to you. Oh, and before you go, we're looking for a bit of help with our 2026 racing plans. So if you're a business owner and you fancy getting involved in a bit of classic superbike racing, give us a message on Instagram or Facebook and I'll explain all. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next Tuesday.